All right, so now we have I put together a kick and snare pattern that I liked. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce you to a concept called side chaining. So we're going to solo just the kick, and we'll do this in the mixer actually. We're going to solo just the kick, which is that, and we're going to solo the bass as well. And as you can tell, you can kind of, well, actually you can hear the kick pretty good. But in most cases, the kick and the bass fight with each other, and it's hard to hear each one individually. So what you can do is something called side chaining, where the bass will read a signal coming from the kick and duck down. So it'll compress down, and the volume will go down when the kick triggers it. So that way the kick comes through, the bass kind of says, all right, I'm going to get out of your way, kick. Go ahead, do your thing. All right, I'm back. Right? And I'll show you how to do that. So open up the mixer. The bass is on this channel and the kick is on this channel. So what you want to do is go over here, and we're going to right click on the bass channel with the kick channel being highlighted. You know what? Let me go ahead and name these to make it a little bit easier. So this is the kick. So in order to align a playlist track to a mixer channel, this is what you do. You right click. We're going to go to track mode, audio track. This is track 8 that we want to go to. And I'm going to, and that just lined it just assigned this playlist channel to that mixer channel. So what we're going to do now is right click, and we're going to rename it kick. All right, and we're going to do the same for the 808. So this is track 6. So we're going to right click, track mode, track 6. We're going to call this 808. There we go. Now we have the kick and the 808 lined up in the mixer. So when we open the mixer back up, you can see it's called 808 and it's called kick. So we're going to highlight kick. We're going to right click on 808. And we're going to say sidechain to this track. There we go. All right, now we need to put a plugin on the 808. The plugin's going to say is going to have the intelligence to duck down whenever it receives a signal from the kick. So we're going to the 808. We're going to put it before the. It doesn't matter if it's before or after for this particular one, but we'll put it. Well, we'll put it before. We're going to choose shaper box. There's an FL Studio one. There's a couple of ways to do it. You can use the limiter, but I think there's a FL Studio one that does multi-frequency side chaining. Let me look real quick. And I'll explain what multi-frequency side chaining is in just a second. Frequency splitter. I think that's it. I'm not sure how to use the native FL Studio one, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So you know, if you're up for me giving something new a shot, I normally don't do this in a tutorial, but we're gonna try it. Let's see. All right. I'm pretty sure you would do it. You would set the sidechain through here. And then, you know what? We're not going to do that. I'm going to use Old Faithful. So there's two ways to do sidechaining. One, you can use the limiter. So I'm going to bring over the limiter real quick. And this is, you should have this in FL Studio stock. It's free. Let me just find it real quick here. More plugins, limiter. All right, Fruity Limiter. So I've just installed this onto the 808. And what we're going to do is you can choose limit or compress. We're going to choose compress, C-O-M-P. Sidechain, we're going to choose 1. So it's automatically picking up that the kick is sidechained. Remember when we did that step to sidechain it? And I'm going to hit play. And it's showing that kick right there. So what we're going to do, actually that's the bass sound. What we're going to do is we are going to adjust the threshold I'm going to do it all the way, just so you get an idea of what it's doing, and ratio. So I'm going to do both of them all the way, so you'll see what happens. So whenever the kick is happening, the bass ducks down, and you can see it right there. So if we adjust the threshold, that's going to let the bass come through some. If we adjust the ratio, a ratio decides how fast it's ducking down and for how long it ducks down. There we go. So we'd probably want to do something like this, a nice middle of the road, right? So we can clearly hear the bass and the kick when we do this. That's one way to sidechain. Another way is you can actually only duck down certain frequencies of your sound and still let that kick come through. I'll show you what I mean. So let's go ahead and take off the limiter here. We're going to... Oh, I just right-clicked. I think I messed up. Yeah, hit escape. There we go. All right. So click the little caret. We're going to click delete and say goodbye to the limiter. We're going to use something called Shaper Box. And I think there's a way to use that multi-frequency FL Studio plugin to do the same thing I'm about to do in Shaper Box. Maybe I can include a tutorial in this course. I just have to learn how to do it first myself. But anyway, in order for Shaper Box to read the sidechain, we have to actually go to this little gear icon right here. We're going to go to this little plug and gear right here, and we're going to use the processing tab. All right, now we're going to choose sidechain. We're going to click that to turn on sidechaining, and we're going to, I'm just holding the left button down, left mouse button down, and going up. There's only one sidechain to choose from, so it brings up that one. And now we're sidechained in. Let's go back to this little plugin right here. We're going to go to volume and sidechain in Shaper Box 3. Shaper Box 3 we're probably going to use a couple times in this session. I use it pretty heavily. It's a really useful VST. So what we're going to do is, if you look at this little mix section, so I'll show you what it's doing so far. So what it's doing now is it's saying every quarter beat, it's going to duck down at the beginning of that beat. Let's see if I can hit play. It's hard to tell what it's doing because it's so rhythmic, but we don't want that. What we want to do is sync it to the sidechain so that it's reading the signal from the kick and only ducking down when the kick comes through. And what you do for that is you click audio down here, and then you go over to here to external sidechain input right there. So audio, and then I think it's a little arrow pointing at a, I don't know, something, a little diamond shape, right? So now it will do the same thing that the Fruity limiter was doing, right? But one cool thing you can do with this plugin is we're going to drag this over. And 137 seems to be about where you want to be. We'll do like 140, 134, whatever, around this range. You want to split it into a low section and a mid section. And we want it to only duck down when the low section is happening. So for the mid section, you want to get rid of all of these. So you just double click on all the dots. And there is a high section as well. If you do this, it'll create a high section, but we don't necessarily need it. So on the low section, it's going to sidechain. For everything 140 hertz and above, it's not going to sidechain, which means it's playing the high part of the bass while the kick is still coming through, the low end of the kick still coming through clearly. And I'll show you what that sounds like. Hear that? So it's not interrupting the bass as much. And that is much better. All right, let's hear it all together real quick. I think I muted it on the mixer. Here we go. We'll just do that. Okay, let's go back to the playlist and let's play it. I'm going to squash the kick a little bit. And I know I'm getting into mixing. I mix as I go. Some people like to just create the song, then mix. I'm kind of mix as I go. That way at the end, you hardly do anything. But I'm going to try to bring that kick out just a little bit more. And I'm going to use a tool called, and this is a free one, Cymatics Diablo. So let's find that. We're going to put the word Diablo in here. Here we go. And this compresses the hell out of your kick, so it brings it all forward. A lot of modern music's done this way. It's an effect I like to use, especially on the loud part of the song that has the most instruments. It's really handy. So you can punch it up, but this kick is already really punchy. But I am going to clip it. I'm just going to pull it down a little bit. You know what? I think for that I think the 808 just needs to sustain through that. I think that'll be a cool effect. So hold up. For this part, sometimes you get creative ideas when you're mixing, right? Here we go. So it's just on the F sharp note right here. We're just going to hold it through like that. And you'll be able to really hear the kick like come through even though this is sustained, which is what we're going for. All right, let's hear it all together. This beat in general, there's a lot of high end and there's a lot of low end now, so we're going to fill in some of the mids, but before that we're going to finish our percussion. So this section we're going to call, sidechaining. We'll call it sidechaining, and what else did we do? We just did, what was the other thing we did? We'll call it sidechaining the kick in 808, and then we're going to move on to the next section and round out our percussion. Hey, what's going on? I hope you've enjoyed this training. This training is just part of a larger course, so if you want to take the whole course, just go to this playlist right here. Also, if you subscribe to my channel, you're going to get a lot of information on how to get your music into TV and film. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, all of those things. Let's go.